Hello, friends. Today, our lecturer has not yet joined. He is having some difficulty in joining the Zoom platform, so we have to wait for some minutes. Hello, Dr. Shafi, are you here in the platform? You're, you are not visible in the room. Are you using some other name? We don't see you. Hello, hello, Dr. Shafi, you in the room? Hey. Dr. Shafi, you here?
Actually, Dr. Shafi is prepared. I know this, but I'm not sure if he's entering yet. I will check it. Yeah, thank you.
Can you help him if you are close to him?
Yes, I will do so. Sure.
Because you have already entered and you know the procedure. He's not able to understand actually.
Yes, I can understand. Yeah, okay.
You please help him, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. In the meantime, Dr. Shafi is joining us. Anybody can use this time. So, is somebody willing to talk briefly, just briefly, or can introduce? No problem. Oh, he is now with us. Hello, Dr. Shafi. You are finally in Zoom. Unmute your mic, please. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, it was difficult to enter. Okay.
I don't know, it is suddenly giving this a problem, but okay, I just managed this. So how to,
Just fix your camera first so that you are fully visible in this in the room. Yes, right.
can you see, it's okay?
Yeah. Okay. Good. So
This my
yeah,
share this.
let me introduce you before you start. Right. Although we are
Just
late
moment.
for some minutes. Yes.
This is the slide.
No problem. This slide can work. Don't worry. If you have entered into Zoom, then your slide will also
Okay, I think fine. Okay, please.
work. Okay. Okay. Yes. I like to introduce you first, but you please close this slide because this slide has already started and is obstructing.
Okay, what we
Okay,
can.
okay. So, dear friends, finally we have got Dr. Shafi Noor. Islam is senior assistant. He's a senior assistant professor in the Department of Geography, Environment and Development Studies at the University of Brunei Dar es Salaam. He holds PhD in Environmental and Resource Management from Brandenburg University of Technology in Germany. Dr. Islam has worked as the lecturer at the Technical University of Berlin and the lecturer of Euro Aqua Hydro Informatics of Erasmus Mundus at the PTU Germany again. He is also the visiting lecturer at the Halmstad University, Sweden. Um, Other than that, he's having a postdoctoral experience and presently a candidate for habilitation again in Germany. Um, so he is well connected in Germany. In fact, um, great. He's the fine expert of the wetlands, climate change impacts, riverine ecosystems, food security. So he's also using remote sensing and GIS technologies in the Department of Geography and Environment, where he is dealing with the problems of modeling and other aquatic resources. So he's quite grounded academics, having lot many publications, including 2 books. So this is the information I have about him. But last time we had very good lectures, and hopefully we will benefit today again from his knowledge and experience in this field. And thank you, Dr. Shafi Noor. You have given us time, and we have vibrant audience today, representing many geographical areas um, from different parts of the world. So thank you again. Please now take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Arjuman. And it is my privilege to have this opportunity to give you this some information on my work, some result. And today I'm sorry for this inconvenience to arrange this arrangement. Share my slide again. Where is my? Host disabled participants in sharing.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Arjumant, can you see this? I cannot share this, my slide.
Um,
Before it was okay.
you started sharing first before.
Yes,
Just
already.
click the share screen button.
Yeah, just look here showing this host disabled to participant screen sharing.
Wait, host disabled. One
Just
second.
accept this.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Get it now. Do it, please.
Okay.
Try again. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see this slide?
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just move your slides.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen from different parts of the world you are joining. Just welcome to my presentation today. It's a little disordered the time, but finally, hopefully, I will manage this situation. Today, I would like to talk about the climate change impacts and natural resource management strategies in global perspectives. Actually, it is a vast area, and to talk within some minutes is really tough, but I would try to share some of my experience as well as some of my work's result, what I am doing in these particular areas. So based on this, today's the title, so I would like to highlight some point, the first point of what are the global climate change impacts. Second, I would like you to say part of the solution. This we needed the impacts and the problems. And solution number one. So I propose the mangrove wetland ecosystem. So mangrove are one of the vital natural resources that could be helpful for the natural resource management whenever the climate change impacts is attracting this area. The
Sir,
part of
sir, your
the
slide
solution.
is not moving. Your slide, nothing is visible on the slides. Please check.
What it is then? How
You just
can
move
I?
your slides. It's not moving.
This is this first slide. Can you see this?
No, nothing is visible on this.
Mm,
In my screen, I don't know the other screens.
new
Can anybody
share.
confirm?
I can also not see the slides. Shafi, one hint maybe. Do I also have your file? So I would do the screen share and try this. And you saying next slide, next slide.
The same thing. We also wanted the slides from him, but he did not provide.
No,
Maybe
it
you
is a
take
good
off the
file.
screen share again. Maybe you take off the screen share again and take it on again.
New share.
The green screen sharing button. It's downwards the middle. It's next to the
Yeah, I
chat.
can see share
Yeah,
sharing. I can
sorry.
see. New
Okay.
share. So what is? Why is not sharing? We are doing
No,
very.
you please send your file to her, and she will play it for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, I try.
can you do this? So I will delete this.
Or also send to me also, please, because I also need that file.
Yeah, I can arrange for you, no problem.
Just send by email, and then we will open it here.
Yes, okay. One important thing, you are off the screen share. You have to go off the screen share now again.
Okay, try. Or can you share now at the moment? Stop share.
I cannot, Shafi.
Maybe now.
Now you can do, please. You do.
Yeah,
Sandra, you please. You are co-host now, so you can do.
Okay, 1 second. Shafi, I don't know if I have the last one. Maybe not the last one, so I try, but I try. Okay, it is. Which one is it? 1 second. Okay, Ihr Screen Sharing wurde unterbrochen. Okay, 1 second again. Freigeben. Aha, okay, Freigabe wieder aufnehmen. It seems that something is stopping. Okay, I'm trying to share again. Climate change, freigeben. It is looking like the sharing is interrupting, but it is not coming from my computer.
Yeah, but I can try then again.
Okay. Yeah, 1 second. Okay.
It is.
Did you try already again?
Yeah, I try.
Okay, that's why my one stopped. So we have to decide one of us is implementing it. So you are now going on ahead, yeah?
I can try?
Yes.
No, it is not.
Then please send to...
I can see my slide here, but other cannot see. Why? I can see it is opening here for me.
Yeah.
Doctor, can you send by email to me? I will make a PDF of it and then start on my computer.
Okay, why?
Okay.
These all instructions we had given well in advance to all our experts.
It's better
We
actually.
always receive the files in advance.
No, which one actually the last one?
Look at the MB, 10 MB.
8 MB, the last one?
Can be version 2.
Okay, at least I can send this. Okay, can you check, Dr. Arjuman?
Yeah, let it come. Takes minute.
Separately, can we not enter in?
You can also try by you convert this file into PDF, and then you can try. Maybe your either your computer, your file is, I think, not allowing it to share.
Shafi, are you right away trying or?
Yeah, but it's not accepting.
Okay.
No, give me minutes. I have received this file now.
Okay.
Let me check if it works on this computer. So,
It's already, no? Okay.
is
Maybe
it
it is.
visible?
Okay, yes, possible. Yeah, now is okay.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead now, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, I would like to start the title of my work, The Climate Change Impacts and the Natural Resource Management Strategies
And you
in the
please,
Global Perspective.
skip the unnecessary things so you can just go fast. We have
Okay.
killed almost half an hour. Please, thank you. The next one, I should do. Just speak next, and then I will do here.
Okay, next. It is not running properly. Okay, the table I would like to say the global climate change impacts and the some solution. The number one, the mangrove wetland ecosystems, coastal resilience, and GIS and remote sensing applications, the natural resource management strategies. Next. Next. So what are the global climate change impacts? The global warming and the climate change represent the current threats for the regions as well as for the natural resources. Due to the global warming and the effects of the sea level rise, and resulting vulnerability of the coastal offshore, shoreline, oceanic ecosystems are the additional factors of our needs for to be considered urgently. Asia and the global regions, the relatively high risk from multipurpose or multiple hazards. And this is due to the impact of the climate change. The annual economic losses in the Asia Pacific region, these risk escape are US dollars 675 billion dollar. The earthquakes, tropical cyclones, floods, landslides, forest fire, the volcanic eruptions and natural disasters at the global climatic regions have caused a slow economic growth, displacement, and the many in, intenses, the frequently forcing the people to migrate now and there, here and there. Therefore, these sustainable natural resource management strategies and the policies are needed urgently. Next. I think for the due to the climate change, especially the vulnerable region, climatic region, Asia Pacific and the ASEAN region, the global warming and the climate change represent current threats. These threats are in the Asian region. We can see this somehow the tsunami, floods, and the tropical cyclones, earthquake, and the droughts are very frequently happening in this tropical and subtropical region, as well as the Asia and the Pacific region, with the highlighted the cyclone, tornado, and hurricane. These very rapidly happening almost every year. So it is a huge loss for the human loss as well as economic loss. So global floods. Next. Floods research shows that some research are finding that millions of the people are under risk in the flooding. A new study shows that the percentage of the global population at the risk from flooding has risen by almost the quarter since the year 2000. So it is almost 20 years continuously flood. It is a very great negative impact in this region as well as the whole world. And recently we have seen some flood in Germany as well as in China, Pakistan, and and Bangladesh and India and some other country, other part of the world, even in the USA, flood and hurricanes, huge negative impact and the loss of the human as well as economic loss. And we think it is due to the impact of the climate change. Okay, next. So the global flooding as one of the impact and the negative impact of the climate change. So where is actually the flooding? We can see in this map, the the very dark red color. This is actually very the vulnerable regions. Gradually, other parts, only the blue part is a less the flooding zone. As on the other way, Asia Pacific region and the Caribbean region also they are vulnerable for flood and other natural calamities. Next. This is the forest fire map. The forest fire, we can see the recently, it is for the last 2 3 decades. Some part of the world, the forest are firing. This is not only the human impacts, it is also the climate change impact. We can see the map where the 50 million hectares of forest are burned during these last 2 decades. And we can see how the land is very dry. And this Northern Africa and the middle of the Asia, as well as the Asia Pacific, Australia in the middle of the Australia, South African regions, and even USA, the Western USA, as well as the South America. The red color or the orange color, this is very dry, uh, dry area, and the vegetation is reducing due to the dryness and the climatic conditions. So it is also becoming a forest fire. So forest fire, even in the Asia Pacific region, even in my place in Brunei, also they happening. So next slide. On the other way, the global drought. So drought, it is also the before status of the forest fire. We can see here the last yeah, in last August 2020. This is a dark red color. These are the drought area. So drought area, where is the drought? It is also the threat of, for the forest vegetation, as well as the agriculture cropping system, and it is a economic loss of for as a whole. So this is a new threat for the drought area gradually extending. In the map, we can see it is also the African major portions are already occupying Western Europe and the Middle Asia, as well as the USA and the South America, especially Brazil and the surrounding other countries, Amazon, the basin area also, we can see the global drought. So drought is another threat for the economic as well as agriculture productions on all things, environmental issues. Next. So it is another cyclone. So cyclone, it is also, we can see the impact of the climate change. Cyclone also before we have, it is happened, but recently for the last 2 decades, it is frequently happening. The cyclone and their different type of cyclone and others. So we can see the hurricane, tornado, and cyclone. Cyclone actually happening in the Indian Ocean and the Bay of Bengal, the beside India, and the Eastern European part. This is a red color we can see. This the cyclone, and the hurricane is happening in the Caribbean region, in the South America, the North American, South American, this in between. It is also extending until the Brazil and very much the eastern part of the earth. And the tornado and the hurricane, it's a different region, 3 locations. This is showing the next slide. Next slide, please. Next. So this is, so we can see another the world cyclone and the movement and the direction of the cyclone. So cyclone and the hurricane. So normally it is happening the tropical and subtropical regions, where it is a equatorial region, the 00. So the typhoon actually happening in the China Sea, especially the China, Philippines, and Taiwan, Japan, this area. Typhoon is hitting, and it's a huge damage is happening almost every year. And it is a normally typhoon happening in only equatorial, in the north directions. This the direction is showing, and the cyclone happening actually both sides. In the Indian Ocean, the north directions, 00 north, or it is a south. This direction in the map we can see. And hurricanes, sorry, typhoon in the China Sea and hurricane in the Caribbean Sea. Caribbean also the both Atlantic and the Pacific. This is a 2 sea over there, Atlantic and Pacific, both side, and it is actually north direction. So almost the Brazil and Venezuela and the Panama, so and Mexico, USA, this area, especially the Florida region, or the Mexico Bay area, it is affecting, and huge human and the life as a losing every year almost. And recently we can see even some last 2 months, it is we can see the hurricane in the Florida region, the huge damages already happening. So it is a continuous, recently it is happening very rapidly. Next. Next slide. Okay, and now we can see this the equatorial zone, the natural disaster, as well as we can see the coastal zone. Almost coastal zone is a very important. Almost those are the countries are located in the coastal region. So one of the very vulnerable and the very important location is Bangladesh. The coastal zones of Bangladesh have a great importance for the country's economy, industrial, ecological, socio-economic, and cultural context. Moreover, it supports rich biodiversity and contributing substantially to the livelihoods of the million of the people through creating opportunities and employments. In the Bangladesh coastal zone is the lowest lying zone in the world, where 36.8 million people are living within a 1 meter elevation from high tide level. On the other way, this coastal region are the part of the Ganges Delta is very much a fertile for agriculture production. 33 million ton the agriculture crops are producing in this deltaic region. Whenever is the coastal zone is affecting due to the climate change, the sea level rise, and the salinizations, so this production rate could be suddenly reduced. Then it is another threat for the food crisis for Bangladesh or the surrounding. At the moment, this country is enough food production, but suddenly the climate change impact, if it is to happen, so the whole area, coastal area, and the deltaic region would be uh, lost this fertility of the agriculture productions. So on the other way, some coastal, 34 coastal towns, some of the small towns, and the three is the largest towns are located within the coastal region. So actually 34 towns are actually facing the problem of the drinking water because of the high salinity. So this is another threat for drinking water, that it is also threat for the human health conditions in the Bangladesh, India, and the surrounding other countries also the similar conditions. Okay, next slide. This is the some the 34 coastal towns in Bangladesh. It is one of my studies findings. So we can see the actually February to March and July. These times actually high salinity intrusion time. And all cities, actually all town, actually in Bangladesh status say Upojila, there's a sub-district. Sub-district towns are actually facing huge problem for the drinking water. But in the threshold line for the water quality, we can say for the salinity purpose, it is a 2 decisiemens per meter. But actually, it is over than 2 decisiemens per meter, which is a threat for the health, security, as well. It is also the agriculture production threats because of the soil salinity. At the same time, with the water salinity. So these are case, these types are not only in Bangladesh, this is India, on the other side, the Myanmar, Thailand, and Indonesia. So the all countries, these are facing the problem for salinity. Salinity is because the upstream of water shortage and the downstream area, the coastal wave, the high salinity intrusion pattern is a very high rate. So this is why this scenario is a very alarming for these coastal countries. Okay, next. These are the degraded coastal region, as I mentioned. So this is a coastal area. How this salinization is intrusion pattern moving to the upstream area from the water to the terrestrial area. That means it is not only coastal wetlands, but on the coastal resources, as well as the terrestrial resources or natural resources also under threat because of the soil and water salinity is very high. It's already crossed threshold line long time ago. So actually for my studies are showing that 47,000 square kilometer in the coastal area is already high salinated. And these 19 districts are already, coastal districts already covering, where 36.8 million people are living. And they are mostly are dependent, their livelihoods are dependent on agriculture, production, and fishing. It is a threat particularly this case area. It is also similar from the other coastal areas in Asia and the Pacific region. Next. This is my another study's result, something of watershed model that we using the water quality salinity intrusion in the Bengal coastal region, Bangladesh and India. This is we can especially the coastal region in the eastern part of the Bengal, and this area something is a Sundarban area. This is the largest mangrove forest in the world with together. And this is the boundary border of the India and Bangladesh. This part is a Bangladesh Sundarbans, and other part is a Indian part. So this is some the data analyzing this model showing this rate part. Actually, it is a high salinity rate. So this is why it is only some of these mangrove actually dying because of the high salinity, because of some salinity, some mangrove species that cannot survive due to the high salinity intrusions, as well as the land area, the soil also getting high salinity. So these agriculture products or the production rate could be suddenly drop over there. So these types of model can also detect which part of the land or the soil is suitable for which type of the crops. So these types of model actually, this GIS can be applied for detecting the land quality and the water quality or the soil quality. That's could be suitable for the farmers. So farmers sometimes don't know what types of crops this year or next year will be suitable for this area, because very frequently the land quality and the soil quality is changing due to the salinity, and salinity increasing because it is the impact of the climate change. Next. So this is another the study with my students. They find this in the same area. They find this the line we can see after this is the threshold line due to the salinity. So this after before this front side, so this is not suitable for the agriculture productions. After this, it is somehow suitable because it is less salinity. So this is a GIS can do this type of model can divide it in the area. So farmers can now take a decision where they will put or where they will cultivate on which crops. So these types of model actually suitable for the farmers and the local level can be easily can be used for that. Okay, next. This is another case in the Bangladesh. I think the audience, some are from outside. We know the Rivarian Island. The islands are located or developed in the basin area, inside the basin. So this is the actually part of the Ganges, last part we can say Padma or the Ganges River. So these actually very vulnerable, these types of island. Actually, one island I was working, this is actually my work of my MPhil studies. So this one of the island, this is a Chor Janada. Chor is a local word, which is a riverian island. This is a very long time. This island actually not as a stable, totally unstable island. This time, sometime it is a totally underwater, and sometimes suddenly it's a new island raised over there. When it's underwater, no people over there. But once it is a raised as a new land, suddenly people are coming. Those are the owner of this land, where they are living, but suddenly they are coming back because of the land right or their or cultural right. They're coming to this land. And now it's a Bangladesh, it is another remarkable construction already developed, actually Padma Bridge. This bridge actually constructed on this river, actually, on this island. So this island, actually, the people actually for the last 100 years, actually moving in surrounding this area. So this is actually some time, this total island is already disappeared. It's totally underwater. And new land again, another island developing either in the upstream or in the downstream. So this is a long time process is continuing. Actually, it is also the region for the climate change. The next slide. So this is a one model. So for the Chorland or this riverine island, I had some case on the directly talk with several time to time. Last time went to 2018. So this is a one person or two brothers. They started in 1994, and they are living in the 60 until before 60. But later, several times, 10 times, they shifted their home. This is actually location from this is the center place. There to they went there, Then again coming, there is a river erosion already started, and they come here. Then again moving here, then again coming here. So this way, 10 times, two brothers. Sometimes they are totally scattered. Their family member where they are, they don't know. And again, when they are informed, their land already raised newly, they again coming back. So after maybe 30 years later, they're coming back in their original land where they migrate, displaces from these places. So this is a cyclic movement model, this conceptual model I developed based on their information, how the Chor people or the riverian island people, whereas the island is unstable, how people life or people settlement also unstable. So their house 10 times, 12 times, or 13 times, 20 times they already moving, but somehow they don't lost their land, right? Whenever it is a race, it is a coming back. So sometimes it is a huge conflict between the land ownership because there is no boundary conflict. On the other way, this is the land, the river channel. So in between there is an island, but the channel, there is no fixed channel. Sometimes the river main channel, this right side, or sometimes it is a left side. So it is a channel migration is very frequently happening in this Padma or the Ganges river basin area. So this is one of the example, and somehow it is a high. Sometimes it is a high sedimentation. Sediment is coming from the Himalayas, as well as the flooding. It depends on the how the water flowing, and the water and the flood is it depends on the, we can say, the climate change impact. Okay, next. This second part, I would like to part solution, the strategies, the mangrove for wetland ecosystem. Next. So would like to say about something, the why mangrove wetland? Mangrove, it is a forest, and the other way, mangrove also the wetlands. The wetlands provide, in general, people concept as general people or in different parts of the world, the wetland is a wasteland. But wetland, it is actually a resource for this livelihoods and for the local people. Wetlands are provided the, what's the wetlands do? The fundamental ecological services and are regulators of water regimes and sources for the biodiversity at all levels, species, genetics, and ecosystems. Wetlands constitutes a resource of great economic, scientific, cultural, and recreational value for the community. Wetlands play the vital role for climate change adaptations and mitigation. This is also a part of doing this. Wetlands can play a potential role. Progressive encroachment and loss of wetlands cause serious and sometimes irreparable environmental damage to the provisions of the ecosystem services. Wetlands should be restored and protect for different for these type of regions. Next. I think this is the wetlands, and this it is related also the ecosystem. We have to say something when we are talking this natural resource management. We have to understand this ecosystem. Ecosystems are very simple way. This is one definition we developed or we talk about. The ecosystem is the function of biotic and abiotic characteristics interactions. Ecosystem equal function of soil, function of climate, function of parent materials, function of organism, function of relief, and types. This actually, it is a one package, and this is a happening running. If something is a disappear or the quality is a degrading, so ecosystem will degrade. So this somehow soil we have to consider, climate we have to consider, parent materials have to consider, organism or microorganism we have to consider, relief or the sloping pattern or the topography of the area, which is important, as well as the time is also the potential, because soil development, we need the time factors. Okay, next. This actually distribution of the wetlands. Wetlands, I already functions, not in details explain. The wetlands actually playing a potential role, for, especially for the rural people or the local people. Some are directly dependent on their livelihoods survival, as well as the medicinal values and the ecological values. So somehow wetlands actually the first victim for the development purposes. Everywhere, something constructions, development, institution development, city development, where you need the plan. First target the wetlands. Wetland because concept is a wasteland. The second target is the forest. Somehow wetlands actually now huge community, those are directly 100 years or 1,000 years surviving on the wetlands. So they would like to keep their wetlands and survive, would like to survive based on their own wetlands. But wetlands distribution, if we can see the next, where the wetlands are actually located. Actually, most of the part, please, next. This is one of the distribution of the wetlands map. So this map we can see the mostly the blue color. These are the mostly wetlands or the river. Wetlands, what is wetlands could be the lake. Wetlands could be the part of the rivers. Wetlands are part of the coastal area. Coastal within the one range, actually not this classified how large it will be, either the coastal wetlands or after this is a marine. But in the inside, this is a small lake, also the man-made pond, it is also could be the wetlands. So somehow the river, creeks, or channel part of this in the case to case and the region to region also could be. But we can see the highest region, the hotspots of the wetlands, it is the tropical and subtropical region covering the 60% of the wetlands of the world. And another hotspots area, Asia Pacific region, where we are or I am working here. This region also the hotspots of the wetlands, but most part of the Western and the European now they are realized that the wetland needs to preserve because wetlands is a potential for the human survival as well as the medicinal purposes. It is also the important. So this is why wetlands, it is a covering now Ramsar wetlands, or it is a potential part of the United Nations. And Ramsar sites, some are already declaring this some part of the Ramsar site wetlands, but it is also some countries state is still not the member of the Ramsar platform. So, but it is already working. It started in 1970, already 50 years, more than 50 years. Now we have a wetlands module we are teaching in the universities. Some research is continuing, but that's mean the potentiality of the wetlands is increasing gradually, and understanding of the wetlands, perception of the wetland is going to the much people, the local people. They are also realizing how important the wetlands. Okay, next. Next. Some wetlands I actually would like to say I have not explained. The largest wetlands in the world, this is the Pantanal wetlands. It is in between the Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. It's covering 140,000 square kilometers. It is a larger than some countries. But you don't know where is a Pantanal. Most maybe some of the audience you don't know where is a Pantanal. Pantanal actually covering these three countries. I think Pantanal maybe with you now. Maybe your shoes, very potential, very shiny shoes, your wallet or your vanity bag or something. This good product actually it is coming from Pantanal, but we never check it. Where is coming your shoes? The best quality of the leather shoes and the leather product bags, belt, is actually coming from Pantanal. But Pantanal, it is also the recently, it is a huge area representing Brazil is covering the most part of the Pantanal, but it is a recently for the last decades use of forest fire. And actually, it is not only water bodies, settlement also inside, some marshy land or the water bodies, and sometimes it's a dry, sometimes it is also the water. So that's mean in such a situation, is a forest of fire is happening because then it is a land use character is changing in this region. But somehow it is we are all somehow the beneficiaries of the Pantanal wetlands. Pentanol is a Brazil. I'm working in the Brunei, but in Brunei market, I can see a lot of products from Pentanol from Brazil. That's mean wherever you are now, your country also maybe is available over there, the wetland product. Similarly, other parts of the Sundarbans, the mangrove, largest wetlands and the mangrove forest area in Bangladesh and India, over 10,000 square kilometer. The stream and the other fisher products is already exporting all over the world. That's mean we are also having these the products from these wetlands. Similarly, some others, Botswana, USA, Florida, India, Krakatoa, Australia, the Krakatoa wetlands, and the Mekong River wetlands. And so somehow the 10 is the largest wetlands, which is people are realizing they are playing, these wetlands are playing a potential role for the local economy, as well as it is a national economy. If you consider the Brazil economy, so Pantanal wetlands actually covering is a major portions of the economy in Brazil than others, other products. Okay, next. And can say the next to the mangrove wetlands and the mangrove forest resource area. Mangrove actually it is also the tropical and subtropical region. It's covering 35 to north from the equator, or the 35 maximum in the south from the equator. This region actually suitable region for the mangrove. We can see this slide, the boundary of the two lines of the north and the south. Here is the actually again coming the three locations in the world is very important for the natural resource management, wherever you can consider, wherever consider from your discipline. But as a geographer or environmentalist, we can see the very potential region. This is Asia Pacific, this region, and the Congo Basin and the Indian Ocean, this region, and this Caribbean region. This is a location of the mangrove, this location of the mangrove, this is location of the mangrove, and the rainforest area location is here. Rainforest is the Congo Basin, rainforest is located in the Amazon basins. So they actually three is in the equatorial zone, three location, geographical locations, and the most people are actually living, majority of the people living in this area. Another thing, almost 60% of the people of the world population living within 200 kilometers from the coast. And Asia Pacific region, especially from this region, the whole the Indian Ocean and the Asia Pacific region, 60% people are living within 60 kilometers. That's mean all peoples actually somehow or directly or indirectly dependent on the coastal resources or natural resources, because this region not the very rich or the not the western part. Even if in the western region, the southern USA, Mexico, and these Caribbean, all these other 13 small countries, they are mostly dependent on the natural resources. And mangrove also one of the potential, the mangrove and the mangrove wetlands, the potential for this economy as well as the livelihoods. Next. So this is why mangrove is getting the potential issue in the world. So most part of the major portion of the mangrove actually covering the America, or guess yeah, this is a, sorry, Indonesia is covering the major portion of the mangrove and the wetlands. So this is also a major portion of the Indonesian economy is covering the 24% is covering. Brazil is covering only 7% of the mangrove wetlands, and Australia is covering 9%. Nigeria is covering 5% or 4%. India, Bangladesh, Malaysia, they're also covering the 4% of the world mangroves. That means some countries, it is those are actually located in the equatorial zone or Asia Pacific, tropical and subtropical region. These are the part of the mangrove. Mangrove, it is now already in the beginning of this my talk, I started with the cyclone. I started with the natural hazards. So for the protection of the hurricane, cyclone, tornado, it is actually the scientists now, other researchers, they also thinking actually mangrove can protect the coastal region. Mangrove protect the coastal resources as well as the coastal human can be safe whenever mangrove belt is a very strong. So this is a new concept. In between, mangrove is important. Some 70s or 60s to 70s and 80s, most part of the countries, they destroyed this mangrove because of the so-called stream cultivation or the agriculture revolutions like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, all countries, even Australia, they already destroyed some part of the mangrove. One of these example is even Kenya and the Eastern African countries also, they started with a stream cultivation. And the one of the example, this is a, I don't know what is a good example or bad example, Pakistan, this is a coastal area, this Indus River Deltaic regions, they destroyed this mangrove 97%. But they say it is not important mangrove. But later they realize, I think recently, some years ago, they started replantations of the mangrove. So all other countries actually trying to replanting, and some small countries like Maldives and these types of countries, they are actually planting now mangrove. So mangrove can raise, develop this land. On the other way, the mangrove can save these natural calamities, as well as a mangrove can support or shelter for livelihood sustainability. Okay, next. This actually, the delta and the mangrove region of the largest delta in the world. This is Ganges Delta or Bengal Delta. And this delta, actually Sundarban is here. This is the Bangladesh part, this Indian part, but whole region, the 33% actually, the one third of Bangladesh is a Ganges Delta, and it is also 33% of food supporting from this area. It is a fertile land for paddy cultivations and vegetable. So this somehow this delta is increasing or extending every year because the big three rivers, the Ganges River, Brahmaputra River, and the Meghna River actually finally enter in Bangladesh. And these three river carrying this sediment. So sediment is actually somehow going to the entering in the coast, and coastal is increasing. Sometimes it is a good luck, sometimes it is a bad luck. So, but it is a sediment is coming. The Ganges or Brahmaputra is the river. It is carrying million tons, 3 million tons, the loads every year. The largest amount of the sediments is coming from through this Brahmaputra river. So, but whenever it is a climate change, sometimes it is a huge flash flood in Bangladesh. This year also happened, and one part of the eastern part of this area, Bangladesh, is a normally they are not facing the problem, but this year this part is facing the huge floods, and sometimes it is floods. Rivers also carrying this load. Sometimes this load is creating the problem for the farmers' land because of land losing this fertility. But next year or some year later, it is also changing. So it is like a rolling the bad and good this way. When is a three giant rivers is flowing through this Bangladesh. So Bangladesh environment or Bangladesh or land fertility depends on the river situation, the flood situation. Is a flood almost every year in Bangladesh. I think recently it is also the talking expert people to say it is because very big repeatedly flooding, it is due to the climate change, because also Bangladesh is located the monsoonal region. So monsoonal floods, actually it is a monsoonal rain, it is creating the flood. In general, that the flood is not a problem because the people are already trained up how to tackle this flood in every year. But when it's a massive flood, this is the problem. This is the out of control. This is people as well as sometimes government also are facing the problem. So this actually, this scenario is happening in Bangladesh and surrounding other countries and neighbor countries as well as. Okay, this the second part, the coastal resilience. Coastal resilience is also the example in the coastal countries. In Bangladesh, also in the two types of scenarios. It's also the something, it is erosions, salinity. On the other way, coastal activities, as well as government taking some initiative to develop the coastal, like in new ports or some constructions to develop the coastal people, some communications, these types of livelihood project. These types of project is running on. These similar characters is also happening for the coastal people. Some other countries like India or Thailand or even in Brunei, this is some project. A lot of project is going on for the coastal development. But coastal actually in Brunei, actually more or less whole countries in the coastal region. It is a small countries within 10 kilometers all of the coastal region. So coastal resilience, the coastal resilience means the building of the ability of the community to bounce back, to come back what is the loss every year. But the resilience and the people are practicing in Bangladesh. People are actually very much familiar. They are losing everything, but they are not painful. They are again ready to recover this situation. So this is a good practice actually in Bangladesh. We can see the case. The after hazardous events such as hurricanes, coastal storm, and the flooding, rather than simply reacting to impact. So wherever the coastal resilience, actually mostly coastal countries, Caribbean region, Asia Pacific region, as well as Indian Ocean region, coastal areas like Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Seychelles, they are actually facing, but they are also familiar with to recover this, and they are actually with this practice, they bounce back, trying to do that again. Okay, next. The coastal regions, actually, I already mentioned the Earth has around 620,000 square kilometer and 390,000 miles. And the coastline, the coast are the important zone for the natural ecosystem, often the home to the wide range of the biodiversity, fishing, and the people, and the indigenous people. They are also living in the coastal region in Asia Pacific and the Caribbean region. But this is a coastal region. Their livelihoods actually depends on this, the fishing and the fish related or the coastal related activities. And actually whole coastal region now actually under threat because of the climate change and the impact as a sea level rise. Sea level rise, maybe we cannot see at the moment. It is not where it can be sea level rising, but sea level is it is active. We can see maybe some years later we can see how the climate change impact is happening. The first example, recently I did one research. Is the 5 years we are continuously working on the climate change impact and the livelihoods and protection of the heritage. This is the Tuvalu. Tuvalu is located in the Asia Pacific region on a small island, but this Tuvalu could be the first victim country in the world, which country totally will disappear from this world. So what are the solutions? So this actually, Tuvalu actually located in this region. So this is the findings. We need something solutions within the 40 is estimated. The Tuvalu will be declined within 2040. So, but maybe so whole people will not. Whatever happen the situation if really it is happening. Then second target, the big tip would be the Maldives. This is a similar situation. But okay, the small island states, the United Nations are also working for that. But the coastal region and the coastal countries, the small countries, they are the most victim countries for the climate change impact. There is a sea level rising, and also the salinity is another impact for that countries. So the coastal region, we can see the vulnerable people with the whole world people actually, mostly I mentioned before, the 60% people, some areas are more people living in the coastal area. So that's mean coastal, we needed the first time to protect our coastal region because the people like to live in the coastal region. And coastal, all the largest cities, everywhere in the world, if you think about your city, your countries, only few countries, mostly the large cities or the capital cities, actually it is located within 60 kilometer or within maximum 200 kilometer, the all largest cities. That's mean people are living very near to the sea, very near to the rivers. So in the coastal area, now it's some coastal area is very much vulnerable due to the salinity, natural calamities, as well as the climate change impact. So this map showing this red area. These are people are most vulnerable. They're facing the problem. These all types of problematic, and especially again, these are three corners of the world. This area, Asia Pacific region, Indian Ocean, and the East Europe, and as well as the Caribbean region. Next. So importance of the coastal region, because of the coastal region, not only people are living, it is for the big cities. So it is a research, educations, recreation, tourism, indigenous people locations, and it is a place for the research. So one of these case, we can see this again in the Bangladesh case, the coastal, the Sundarban region. Sundarban is a Sundarban, so that means Sundar is a mean beautiful. The forest, the beautiful forest, the actually it is a nice forest, beautiful forest. Those are already visited in the mangrove forest area. This is one of the nice or beautiful forest in Sundarbans. So you can see these people every day, 50,000 people entering in the Sundarbans area, but it is a forbidden. Government don't allow the too much people, but the people are going because this is a nice place. 50,000 people, all are tourists here. So they are entering. Some are entering for touristic purposes and for the hunting or the resource collections, but who are thinking actually for the protection of the resources. These are indigenous people. Some are like nomads. They are one place to another place inside the Sundarbans. They are actually their lifestyle totally on the Sundarban resources, natural resources, or it is a high salinity water, but they are surviving with this because they are already habited. That's mean a people long time. It is their heritage. They will survive within the Sundarban, within the coastal forest. But we needed to protect this. How to protect these coastal resources? That's mean it is also large number of the economic contribution actually coming from the tourism sectors. So all this mangrove area, even in the Brunei, I can see the mangrove is suitable for the tourists. People are coming to watch these mangrove resources. Some other countries also mangrove are now using as a ecotourism or the touristic places or recreational places or indigenous research, indigenous studies. So it is somehow it's a potential. Some countries in the African, East African, some countries actually they are long time, and South American, it is a lot of demonstrations from the indigenous people. They're demanding to protect our resources, natural resources, mangrove resources, because we are surviving on that. You cannot destroy that. So similarly, it is actually mangrove is a really potential for economy and the development. This is a one simple case, how the coastal area. This is in Brunei case one, this the erosion. So erosion and the high salinity, because the erosion is happening when the sea level rising and some inundation is happening in the coastal area. It's a very small country, but also facing this problem, the climate change impact. Next. We can see this, so we try to see the comparison for 2003 and to 2020, the same area, one of the upper level, the last part of this country, narrow, like a bay area, island area. So within the 23 and 20, almost 19 years, so you can see the pattern. This is actually erosion. And erosion, it is actually climate change. So, okay, last part, we would like to see the strategies, the solution, the GIS and remote sensing application. Next, how GIS and remote sensing can help to prepare something or prepare the management plan or the master plan. geographical information system, GIS, or remote sensing. Actually, what it is, remote sensing and GIS are process, define the problem, and we define the, we can use this problem map or the solution map or solution model. We can analyze this data. So you can predict this data, or we can predict these natural hazards or natural calamities. It is also possible through analyzing geographical information or detect this area, a vulnerable area or the suitable area through GIS and remote sensing jointly. Any type of planning or prediction is possible, or mapping or modeling through GIS. So now the natural sciences or geography and environmental studies, actually everywhere of the world, they are using the GIS. We can also trying to GIS and remote sensing application in natural resource protection or the natural resource management planning. You can use this tool for the as a suitable tools. Next. This is the GIS and remote sensing. We can also use the GIS investigating some of the one my students were investigating the 2021 the wildlife or the forest fire in the California. Even the forest fire, it is a whole world, and USA is facing the huge problem, and it is increasing very rapidly, even in Australia, USA, Canada, everywhere, as well as India, China, and even in Brunei, we are facing. So these types of the forest fire we can detect through the GIS and remote sensing application. That will be helpful for the future protection as well as the future sustainable management through this GIS application or remote sensing application for the resource management. Next. So this whatever we are doing in the small scale in our universities, we are actually facing the problem natural resource related. My country, where I'm located in the Brunei Darussalam. So with the coast, what is happening in the coast? What's the natural features? What the natural resources at the moment? The management policies. We are discussing and we are going to the field, and then coming back with using this GIS remote sensing. Students are presenting their result, and this we are sometime we also proposing for the contributing to the master plan, the development master plan. So whatever we are preparing our student for the future officers, future planner, future decision maker, future management officer, such a way our education actually for GIS and remote sensing we are applying. Next. The GIS and remote sensing application in climate change impacts analysis. I had already mentioned the impact. We need to analyze this impact. For example, this already the GIS and remote sensing lab the coastal climate resilience in the Bangladesh case, the Sundarbans and the coastal area. Even it is a possible to two-dimensional or three-dimensional analysis. And the flood condition, this is flooding in Bangladesh, 1955 to 2012, so whatever the continuous the mapping pattern, sometimes it is covering the whole area, sometimes the part little one third. So why it is happening? So this map or it is a two-dimensional mapping, but three-dimensional mapping can show this how you can take a next action, the plan, future plan, how to protection. So GIS can help you for the national management plan or any area for the natural resource management or development plan or the urbanization plan, rural land use plan, or the agriculture development plan. All things could be possible through application of the GIS and remote sensing. As we already use in Bangladesh, it is also possible everywhere, or other discipline, even all discipline can apply this. This tool is a very potential tool for natural resource management and climate change data analysis, all things. GIS plus a RS remote sensing applications for the climate change impact, sea level rise, coastal erosion, and resilience. All activities could be applied, could be analyzed through these tools. These are very potential tools. One example, some my students who work actually, he's completed his doctorate under me this year. He's graduated. The example for the Zanzibar case study. Next, Zanzibar is a Tanzania, so one island um, island, or those who have this area, maybe will understand Zanzibar and the Tanzania. Actually, it is a two separate territorial region, and it was two countries. Zanzibar, today's Zanzibar, it was the Tanganyika before name, and Zanzibar, actually it was Zanzibar. Two just reunifications, they named the two part of the name Zanzibar. Tanganyika, Tan, and Zanzibar is Jan. So this is a coastal area. How they affected this coastal area, the erosion, the whole area. This actually, it is also the climate change, the sea level rise in the Zanzibar coast, the city, and these are two island actually, the Zanzibar. And the erosion, how the coastal erosion is happening, and the coastal resources are losing. The first slide we have seen, and the similar you can see the rate. This is GIS application showing this area. It is a huge erosion is happening, and this is the part of the here, this part and this part. The coastal erosion is happening, and some part of the city already underwater. So, but there is no research on that Zanzibar area. This is one of the good study where is applied for the remote sensing and GIS application, some the model and the mathematic model, all just showing us something good hope to protect the Zanzibar island erosion from the climate change impact. Next, next. So this is one of the city in Zanzibar. This is same already, and this is a floods in Brunei. It's a small country, but is a mountainous hilly character. But you can see very recently it's happening the two times or every year is the floods is happening. So we are trying to apply now the remote sensing and GIS application for flood modeling. Next. So similar in the Brunei, this area, the house settlement, the rate area, that's very much affected for the due to the flood in Tutong district, in the one of the major district of the Brunei case. Next. Okay, last part, mostly so next. Natural resource management strategies. Natural resource management strategies, the part of the solution strategies, one, mangrove or wetland ecosystems, plus part two, coastal resilience management, and the part of the strategies three, GIS and remote sensing application. And finally, based on this result, ideas, participatory natural resource management and sustainability strategy for the management. Next. I think wetlands management, actually we already mentioned, explained wetlands management or mangrove wetland management or forest management, whatever in the tropical and subtropical region, 56% of the wetlands and 50% of these wetlands are under threat due to anthropogenic influences and climate change factors. So proper management plan is necessary and it is urgent. Otherwise it is too late. Based on this is conceptual model, what we need to protect, what we need to consider for the natural resource management. It is either water, either terrestrial, either forest, either wetlands, or mangrove forests or mangrove wetlands. With these four sectors, it is a very important. The soil, vegetations, wildlife, and water. These four actually needs is connected to quality or mention to save these four factors. These are the threats for the mangrove wetland ecosystem. If we not protect these one of the sectors or under these sectors some other subsectors, other than then we cannot protect our ecosystem. Your ecosystem is a threat. That means your production rate will go undergone. So it is so that's mean based on these three discipline or four discipline and some sub-discipline, integrated management plan or the wetland ecosystem is possible when is a integrated management plan is necessary based on the potential sectors. Next. So future wetlands or the management would be two joint actions needed to be taken to take a wetland resources use and development neutrally happen. Avoid further wetland or the mangrove forest or the natural forest degradation. whatever. Recover already degraded wetlands or degraded resources, whatever already degraded, try to recover within this policy. Integrated action and development plan for wetlands or the mangrove wetlands needs to close the social and cultural cooperation between urban and the rural wetlands stakeholders and the wetlands management authority, because we are somehow all are the stakeholders wherever we are located, wherever are my professions. We can fight
Deci el
wetlands
acum face, de ce s-a închis? Abia am intrat.
degradations by both rehabilitating already degraded and abandoned wetlands and promoting sustainable management to avoid if half ongoing degradations. Next. So some factors considered to setting a designated use of the developing a management strategy for wetlands or the natural resource management includes wetlands a type of the landscape positions, surrounding land uses, cumulative impacts on the wetlands, vegetation quality, presence of absence of rare or the endangered species, surface water quality, wildlife habitat, economic and social values, cultural values, and aesthetic values. Next, concluding remarks are already finished. Wetlands or the mangrove wetlands or natural resources ecosystems are important habitat for the flora, fauna, hence are the nationals and international in importance for conservations. Wetlands can be defined as the important importance factors. So this is a last part of the natural resource management and sustainability. So natural resource management, first we need to do management to protection. Later we can see the sustainability. So this is actually concept of the some part of the concept and included our concept, the some support, how we can make the natural resource management or sustainability. We need a support from the institutional support or academic supports, planning and the policy support from the government or the good governance side. These some sectors need a proper planning support, or the landscape and the land use or biodiversity support. That's mean policy, rules and regulations. Livelihood support, the people are directly dependent on natural resources. What would be alternative or how to manage to protect their livelihoods? That's the support should be. And organizational support, the banking and other support should be supported. And other support, this is my point, whatever besides the United Nations program, the indigenous support, indigenous knowledge, culture, and practice habitat. That's also could be the within the framework for natural resource management and sustainability. These all are the sectors should be considered. Then we can see the participatory natural resource management and sustainable strategy through this framework. That will be the possible. Okay, I think this could be the last part. I think this framework, this is my proposed. And thank you very much. I took a little time. And thank you very much for your participation. If you have some suggestion and questions, please, for the audience.
Well, thank you, Doctor. You have very comprehensively covered the subject. So we have already exhausted the time.
Yes.
Yes, yes, but still we can take few questions. If somebody
Okay.
can come forward and quickly speak the question,
Hello,
please.
Okay.
hello,
Yes.
Yes, yes, please speak.
hello, Dr. Shafi. I'm Sonamong Sherpa, speaking all the way from Bhutan. My question to you is: due to climate change, we know that the like water resources at the surface level, and even due to that reason, people started to extract groundwater from started to water from the ground also now. For example, let's assume that if water resources are all dried up, is there any other alternative way to harness water?
Okay, good questions. Actually, water is the life. Water very much a potential. It depends. You are from Bhutan.
Yes, sir.
I have a very good friend now is in Bhutan. We studied together in Germany. Okay, this is your government is a something a good policy for the Bhutan, and you have a very fresh water in Bhutan, even not necessary very much a deep water or the groundwater. Groundwater level also the quality is a good in Bhutan because you have available rainwater as well as the Himalayas water is coming. But some of the other part, if you go further south, so those are very near to the coast. And some part, even if India, so India is a big part, the middle part is a huge country, is a dry. So dry and the sources of the irrigation, actually the groundwater. So groundwater also you needed the want conservation level. Otherwise, a groundwater also would be very shortage. And somehow we needed some further studies how far the saline water from the seawater intrusion until where. So it is actually middle of the Bangladesh case already this saline water already available. That means you cannot go further. So this alternative groundwater or surface water better if you much of water you can use the surface water or the water. Some countries already forgotten the rainwater harvesting. This is would be the another alternative solutions, and the purifications, the indigenous knowledge as well as the very modern knowledge, modern tools already developed, how to purify, especially for the coastal area and coastal both the technology, engineering knowledge, as well as the indigenous knowledge. We never try to practice with the indigenous knowledge. Maybe some of the generation to generation, they already know how to purify the water. That could be the, maybe this is my opinion to solutions.
Thank you, sir, for your opinion, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any more?
We take one more question, please. Anyone? Okay, I think because we have already consumed the time, we
Okay.
are running out of time now. So let us close this session today. It was a very good session, and I think you have the one more lecture day after tomorrow, right?
Not tomorrow, and 18.
No, I'm saying day after tomorrow.
Okay, yes.
So day after tomorrow, no, sorry, day
No, no,
after
no,
tomorrow.
Friday,
No.
next
It's on,
Friday.
yeah, it's on Friday, right? Sorry. So on Friday you have the another lecture. Okay.
Yeah, that will be,
So
I
there
will
is one
cover a lot of
question for
things.
you, sir. Can you
Mhm.
address this?
Okay, please.
Is question from Bangladesh. You just read the chat box.
Why not asking
Yeah,
directly?
Nusrat, you can please switch on your mic and please just ask this question. Hello.
Dr. Islam, what do you think about growing demand of resources in case of conservations? Mm, okay, thank you for the presentation. Okay, one thing is the questions. I think, thank you very much, this Nusrat. What do you think about the growing demand of the resources in case of conservation? Okay, these are good questions. Actually, you answer your questions within these questions. The demand is high everywhere. So, but your resources are limited. Either it's a natural resources are all of the natural resources. I gave only some example. That could be. So water, forest, soil, and the oil and gas. This also energy sectors is a very demandable. But we needed to, we cannot, natural resources, it is not renewable resources, natural resources limited. For example, the water also limited. So what would be the alternative solution? Alternative solution, distribution pattern. We have to, the awareness developed for the people. For example, water. Some countries available water, they have no regulations how much of water can be used, or how much some countries, even I am in Brunei, it's the cheapest water. I use of water, but I came from Germany. So Germany is a very restricted for water, even groundwater. You have no permission to shrink a tube well or anything, everything controlling. So that's mean we have also the regulations, the government, good governance, as well as regulation and people participation in this government regulations. Because demand is high, the government cannot supply or you cannot use. For example, Sundarbans is also limited resources. So we have to protect first, otherwise we cannot enjoy this. And this, based on this demand, and is the imbalance demand and high demand or limited resources, based on this, why the United Nations is fighting, demanding sustainable development. Sustainable development, our concept is the same. We need to keep something future generation. They should also use our resources. We should not finish this. Okay, for this, so for your demand, we can increase. Demand is the certain part we can increase for the mechanism or the modern technology development. For example, Bangladesh, the rice cultivation is a demand was high long 50 years before. Now it is a excess production because it is a technology. So that's the way some resources is possible to increase. But water you cannot increase. Only water increase is a flood. Flood, then it is a issue of the management. But groundwater we need to good way to distribute and the use. So all these resources is the same. Some countries they have enough resources, but they cannot use. I think my one friend already asking from the Bhutan, this guy already asking for the water resources, but Bhutan is a good example for the natural resource, the forest. Forest management practice is the best practice, one of the best practice is it is a Bhutan, because they already reduces or limited tourists can visit in Brunei. So that's mean other people can visit. You have to spend every day more money, maybe $250. You have to spend every day. So in such way, another good policy. So they would like to protect their nature. They don't want the much money from touristic point. So these types of some alternative and productive ideas, policies should be included in every country's national resource management policies or the master plan.
Okay,
Such way.
thank you, Doctor, for very detailed reflection on it. I think because of the constraint of the time, so we really have to close this session today now. For the your next lecture on Friday, Doctor, I will request you to do two things at least in advance. One, you please send your file,
Okay,
presentation file
that's
in advance. Learning from today's technological failure.
Mhm.
Another thing is please enter in the Zoom one day before so that you don't have any technical issue again.
Okay,
So we
that's
will
good.
meet about 5 minutes, at least 7 minutes before time. So thank you for your contribution, and for the audience, I think mm, we are on the track. So day after tomorrow, we have another lecture. One professor from India, and he is a soil scientist and very good in the natural resources sector. So we will meet
Okay.
again day after tomorrow. Thank you very much for everybody for taking interest today. Have a good time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and Dr. Arjumando for thank you very much for giving a opportunity to talk my research finding, as well as the my fellow colleagues. They participated in my talk. from different parts of the world. Somewhere it is a morning, somewhere it is a midnight. Thank you very much for your participation. I think we'll keep in touch in the near future. Okay, bye-bye from Brunei.